This is what happens when people use leverage. It's great on the upside if we don't get pullbacks, but what happens is when you're using 25x leverage, you're going to get flushed here, and it's extra coins that are going to be sold. This is what, again, occurs when you have the leverage in the system. It's not unusual. Again, one of the things, and I talked about this yesterday on trading the close, if we flip over to the daily chart, I said yesterday, and you can go back and watch that trading the close, I said it is a weak breakout on Bitcoin.
Hey there, Crypto Street investors. Ever wondered what happens when you mix crypto, leverage, and a sprinkle of chaos? Well, you get a wild roller coaster ride, my friends. This is the aftermath of the leverage extravaganza, a thrilling dance with danger. Using 25x leverage is like playing with fire, and guess what? You might get burned. Don't worry, we got the inside scoop. In our daily close analysis, I hinted at the weak breakout on Bitcoin. Now, let's unravel the mysteries with our crypto maestro, Gareth Soloway.
Check it out. Here's your intraday 10-minute chart of Bitcoin. You can see the cliff dive. Basically, what you had to see yesterday is you have all this hype coming up because the spot ETF is going to be approved, and we're hearing anywhere from today to Friday, right? Anywhere in this range. So Bitcoin was perfectly set up to break out above this high pivot, and sure enough, it did. But literally, look at the tail. Is that a strong breakout when you form a tail and price goes up to 46,000 but then closes barely above the previous high? And the answer is no. And you have to look at it and extrapolate, right? You have to say to yourself, okay, well, why? Why was this? Why did price get pushed back down here? And the answer is simply there were sellers. And so if you have all the small investors so pumped about the Bitcoin ETF, they're not selling, guys. Let's be honest. The hodlers, all of those players are not going to sell. So who's selling? And the answer is big money. Big money is unloading into that breakout. They know that this is extra volume being caused right here on the breakout, and they are unloading into it. The fact that we barely closed above that previous high, it was a warning sign, again, given to you yesterday in trading the close, which I'll be on today at 3:55 p.m. Eastern time. And then look at the drop on Bitcoin today from basically 45,000 down to almost 41,000. 10% drops, a big drop. Now, I want to show you some levels here. There's no levels on the charts. We're going to create some right now for you guys. I'm going to basically take this pivot here, and we're going to stretch a line right through here and look at this trend line. This is the trend line that I care about as a technician. So again, just simply put, look at this trend line here, right? We have a trend line again with a pivot point here, all along here, to here, and we pierced it today. Now, you're still above it. So in Bitcoin land, this is okay. Yes, it's a big pullback, but it is not donezo for Bitcoin. And by the way, when I say done, I just mean short term, like short term bigger correction or not like done. But in any case, you have your flat line up here. Let me add that in right now so we can have that on the chart. Let's put our flat line right across. And basically what we have here, if we flip back to the chart, is our little wedge pattern. You tried to break out. I would call this at this point a failed breakout, but you haven't broken down yet either. And that is the key on the Bitcoin chart. So can we break up and still go up to 48 to 50,000? I don't know. A lot of people calling for it now. Again, that was a chart level I came up with months and months and months ago, but ultimately, still now everyone's saying it. Makes me wonder if it's really going to happen. Or are we going to see the bigger correction finally take hold, which sends us to 38,000? And then if that gets broken, we could go down as low as 30,000. 30,000, though, that is a level at this point I would be a buyer at. On Bitcoin, it would be a huge correction, and again, likely at least a swing trade opportunity.
Let's highlight some of what Gareth said. The hype train fueled by the spot of imminent approval. Bitcoin, all set to break out, and then, bam, a cliff dive. The tail on that breakout? Not a power move, my friends. So why the nosedive? Well, who's selling? Not the holders, for sure. Big money sees the breakout as an opportunity to cash in. Gareth's chart magic reveals the failed breakout, but hold on. Bitcoin's not out for the count. We got trend lines, wedges, and potential swings. Is Bitcoin ready to soar or brace for a bigger correction? Michael Saylor, the maestro behind MicroStrategy, is making waves. He's selling a whopping $216 million of MicroStrategy shares, and guess what? It's not just for a fancy yacht. It's all about the king of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. Saylor's not just having a party, he's buying more Bitcoin with the cash. In an SEC filing, he spilled minus 315,000 shares up for grabs. It's a crypto treasure hunt, and Bitcoin's the prize. Saylor's game plan. He's on a 4-month mission, selling 400,000 shares using a smart trading plan. Why? To cash in on an expiring stock option. Smart move, right? In the Q3 earnings call, Saylor spilled the beans. He's not joyriding. He's diving into Bitcoin territory. Why? An old stock option from 2014. His move? Stack up more Bitcoin. Keeping his Bitcoin stash low-key, Saylor owned 17,732 BTC in 2020. And MicroStrategy? Brace yourself, 189,150 Bitcoins as of December 2023. It's not just a move. It's a crypto chess masterpiece.
What we see right now is that the SPY is currently down again today. So it's hard to see, I know, but if we zoom in here, we can see that the pre-market data, again, is showing us. And I can actually go to the intraday chart here and flip over to extended hours. And we can see, again, right here, we are trading lower in the pre-market. Closed in this range here, we're now trading down here. Now, the interesting thing that I'm going to be watching, folks, is if we zoom out on this, look at where we are compared to yesterday. So the first and foremost thing, as a technician, what am I looking for today? Well, here's yesterday's low right there, okay? Do we take it out today or do we close above this level? So on a daily basis, do we make a closing lower low? If we do, now you have 2 consecutive down days with significance with a lower close on the second down day. That would be something that I would pay attention to. We don't know yet. I won't know until 4 p.m. today. Tune into Trading the Close with Tony Valier. We'll talk about it. I'm going to be on there today. Okay, so that's number one. Looking at the chart on the daily chart, quickly going over this. What do we see here? Well, we knew that we were into lots of resistance. It seemed like the market would never go down into the end of the year. As I explained yesterday, I think there were a lot of people that probably wanted to sell but didn't want to pay taxes in 2023, so they pushed it off to this year. I do think you're seeing some of that continuing to play out today. I also think that there's starting to be new fears out there. Yields are starting to go up. The dollar's starting to go up. Those are signals of rotation into safer assets, right? Being more careful. You're rotating into these type of things, being more, again, aware of the extracurricular global geopolitical picture out there. All right, so again, if we continue to pull back on this chart on the spiders, where would a downside reasonable target be? And the answer is pretty simple here, right? You start basically doing your fibs, and what I do, and this is exactly play-by-play, how I decipher this. So when I see a massive move up like this, and again, we know that the NASDAQ, biggest move since 1999, last year. S&P, not quite the biggest one, but nonetheless, still impressive move. So let's do our Fibonacci levels here, and we take it to the highest point. And what I do here is I say, okay, here's my fibs, and now in terms of a pullback, is there any Fibonacci level that aligns with a previous pivot point on the chart? And for instance, one of the things I would pay attention to, for instance, right? So you have this high here, and then you have this high right here. Okay, so those are 2 major pivots, generally in the same location. The question again is, do they align with anything? And you can see right here, they do align with the 382 and the 236. So in general, I would start saying right in this vicinity, here is where your likely pullback is. That's between 460 on the SPY and 452. Now, what that does is it gives us a general target for a pullback early in the year before buyers likely will step up. The big question is, and this is going to be the big one, guys, and this is some great education, is that if we get into this scenario, and I'm going to rotate this chart away because I want to show you guys, right? So let's just say we do get a pullback, all right, from that high. So we have a big move up, and we hit resistance, we pull back a little bit. Now, you have to decide here, and this is what the chart is going to tell us, is are we going to head back up to new highs, or are we going to eventually roll over to lows? And the way you decipher that, folks, is based on the angle of the move. So when you have a drawdown like this, like it looks like we're starting to have, what you want to look for is, do we go straight back up like this, which would be bullish, or do we go more sideways, which shows an equal amount of buyers and sellers, equaling essentially creating bearish consolidation? So this is where angles, I mean, again, so many people think charts are so easy, and they are once you learn the metrics of them. But essentially, the angle means everything. And this is something I teach in the Winning Trader series, is that you have to start looking at the angle. This would be a bear flag. This would tell you downside. This would be a vertical move for a double top, Or maybe it goes up like that, then consolidates, and then breaks out, and this would be the bull flag pattern, right? So essentially, once we get this pullback, we then start analyzing how price action is when it starts to bounce. Is it flatlining, sideways, or slightly higher? Or is it a vertical buyers coming right back in and taking control of things?
Gareth Soloway's back with more financial mysteries to decode. And we're diving deeper into the crypto abyss. Spies down, pre-market shenanigans, and charts telling tales. It's a whirlwind of excitement. But fear not, we're breaking it down step by step. Daily chart drama. Will we make a closing lower low? The suspense is real. As a technician, Gareth's eyes are glued to key levels, Fibonacci vibes, and the age-old question, bull flag or bear flag? The angle of the move is the key, my friends. Will it be a vertical bounce to new highs, or a sideways shuffle indicating a bearish stance? That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.